What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Prince of YouTube PS Compulsion signing in here, aka that 21-year-old kid with the light squeaky voice, aka Prince Anthony. And I was on my channel earlier on today, just looking through my videos, my old videos, getting ready for my next upload. And then I realized something. I'm like, wait, 6,000 subscribers? When the fuck did that shit happen? I'm like, yo, I just hit 6,000, so I didn't even realize that shit. But I gotta say, thank you to each and every single one of you guys. Thank you to those that love my videos, dislike my videos, don't like me, don't like my light voice, that just hate me. It don't even matter, because I still love each and every single one of you guys. Yeah, I'm fucking up this commentary already, but like I said, thank you to each and every single one of you guys. I really love and appreciate you guys. Love the support, love the hate, love everything. You guys are fucking sexy. But anyways, to celebrate me hitting 6,000, I'm like, I should tell these guys a story, right? But I don't really have much stories to tell, so then I went way back into time, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got a perfect story for you guys. It gets no personal than this. My first time getting some punani, my first time getting some ass, baby. So everybody, come closer, come a little closer. Everybody, gather around the campfire, get your marshmallows out. You wanna know why? Because it's story time with Nate. So here we go, right? Let me take you guys way back into time. I already said that shit already. Shit, I'm here reusing jokes and shit. That's how you know I'm whack. But anyways, let me take you guys back to the 11th grade, 2011. I was like 16 years old, right? And at the time, I had this friend, and well, we still cool now. He's actually still one of my good friends, but I'm gonna call him Jay in this video. He had a girlfriend, right? So it's early 2011, like January 2011 or whatever, and he was still with this girl or whatever, and I would always see them together, so I wouldn't bother them. But then eventually they broke up. So now it's like, what month was it? Like March, around March or whatever. And I would always see them still talking to each other. They would still talk to each other. It's like they broke up, but we're still cool on like a certain level. We still say hi to each other. But it's high school, so a lot of high school relationships was like that. Like they'll break up and then they'll be like, fuck you, I hate you, but then you'll see them talking again like 2 minutes later. It's like, it was something like that, but they wasn't getting back together. So one day after class, I saw them, standing in the hall talking to each other, and me and my friend Jay, we was about to leave to go home because we walk the same way to go home, and we take the train together to go home. So after my last class of the day, I'm walking downstairs, and then I was walking through the hallway, and I saw them by the door for their classroom, and they were just standing there talking or whatever, and he was like, oh, hold on, let me tell her bye, and he gave her a hug. And then I'm like, like the ugly nigga I was. Back in high school, I was ugly as hell, bro. I should show you guys a picture, but then you guys are gonna roast me, and then you guys are gonna cut my ass, and you guys already cut my ass about my voice. And I'm not trying to give you guys more ammunition against me. Like, come on, bro, that's not cool. But anyways, I was an ugly ass nigga back then. So I'm like, where my hug too? Ugly niggas always be like, yo, where my hug at? That's exactly how I was. I was like, yo, where my hug at? And then she looked at me like with like a nasty face. I'm like, well, bitch, you gonna give me a fucking hug or not? So she gave me a hug, and then she was like, later. And then I was like, later. So, I go home later that day. I'm on Facebook or whatever, and I'm like, should I send this girl a friend request? Because, she just gave me a hug. And then I go on, like, her page, and then I realize I already have her as a friend. I'm like, wait, what the hell? I had her as a friend this entire time? So I'm like, all right, I never paid it no mind. So then on Facebook back in 2011, people used to play these games, right? Where you basically posted a status saying, inbox me a number or a letter or a color or some shit like that. I think it was a color. It was like, inbox me a color, and then I have to post a status without tagging you, saying how I really feel about you or whatever like that. So she posted the status, and I inboxed her a number. I really think it was a number, not a color. I think there's both variations to the game. Some were colors and some were numbers. I think I inboxed her a number, and my number was number 7, and then she posted a status saying number 7, and then she wrote how she felt. So she wrote, number 7, you're very cute and you got some nice eyes and we should talk more. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I posted the same status to see if like she'll inbox me back and inbox me a number back, and then she did. After I posted the status, so she inboxed me a number back, and then I posted a number. I'm like, oh you're very cute, and you should hit me up sometime. And she liked the status, and then that was about it. So the next couple days and weeks go by in school, and like every time I see her, I'll just say hello. I'll be like, hey, what's up? And then it was nothing special. So then eventually we're in like April 2011 now, and every time I saw her, she'll give me hugs and shit like that. And now we're getting ready to go on spring break. So now spring break finally came, and then I got an inbox from her, and she hit me up, and she was like, hey, what's up, or whatever. So eventually we started talking more and more and more on Facebook, like inboxing each other back and forth. And then we spent the entire spring break like talking to each other, and next thing you know, my ass here catching feelings and shit. I'm like, yo, like she mad cool, but my son was just with that girl though, so that's my friend's like ex-girlfriend. So I'm like, should I even try? So I'm like, hold on, let me ask him if it's okay. So I'm like, all right. I went up to Jay. I'm like, yo, do you mind if I date what's her face, because she really cool, and she like I got to know her a little bit, and we've been talking for a little, and she mad cool. So I'm like, you think you will mind if we go out or not? And then he was like, do you, bro? I don't give a fuck. I don't care about her no more. I got somebody else, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay. So if that's the case, then hell, I'm gonna go for it. And I just broke the freaking bro code, bro. You're not supposed to do that shit. You're not supposed to go out with your friend's ex, like no matter how close you guys are, like you're not supposed to go out with your friend's ex. And I just totally broke the bro code. So then me and the girl started talking. I'm like, yeah, he said it was cool or whatever. And then eventually, like about a couple of weeks later, in the beginning of May, we ended up as a couple. So we ended up going out together. So now me and her boyfriend and girlfriend, I'm happy as hell. I'm like, yo, I got me a girlfriend. Like, this is like my third girlfriend since being in high school. I'm like, yo, I finally got me another girlfriend. Like, I'm hyped up. So, things were going good between us, and I'm like, yo, I'm really feeling this girl. And my friend Jay was like, this nigga actually went out with my ex. Like, you supposed to be my bro, and this is what you did? And he tried to play it off. He was like, nah, I don't give a fuck. Like, yo, fuck that bitch. So I'm like, yeah, he low-key cared a little bit, but I ain't give a shit because I had a girlfriend. Like, I was so hyped up. That's how you know how ugly I was back then, son. For me to break the bro code like that, I'm like, yo, fuck the bro code. I'm gonna go out with your girl anyway. And so things started to get serious as time went on, and next thing you know, it's like May, June, July. In July, her birthday in July. So in July, things started to get like a little more serious. Like shit was actually starting to get more and more serious. Next thing you know, she's like, oh, like I'm really feeling you or whatever, and I really want to say that like I love you, but I can't. It's too early. Blah 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 blah. So then she was like, oh, for my birthday, I want to have sex, this and that. I'm like, yeah, about that. I don't know if that's gonna happen because, to be honest, I've always had the fear of like having sex because I was really scared of becoming a father. Like, I did not know how sex worked at all. Like, I'm like, I am new to this shit. Like, I don't know what the hell is like. What is this? Like, what the hell is busting a nut? People was telling me about that. Like, oh, you gonna bust you a good nut, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I am. Ha, ha, ha. I'm like, what the hell is that shit? Like, what is that? I never experienced that shit before. So I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Like, am I gonna do that shit? Like, as soon as I put that shit in, am I gonna become a father? Like, I didn't understand, like, sex at all. I had zero knowledge about it. And it sucks being a teen and not knowing about it because a lot of teens today really don't know a lot about sex, and that's how a lot of people are ending up pregnant, especially back then. Like today, now that I'm 21, I know a lot of females that I went to school with that are pregnant or already had children. Like about 20% of the people that I went to school with already baby fathers, baby mothers. I'm like, yo, that shit is crazy. So, I was really scared of becoming a father, so I wasn't really trying to mess with it. So her birthday passed, we ended up just going out, I ended up taking her out somewhere, and, we had a good time, and she was actually very patient with me. So as time went along, I started to, like, slowly, like, be open to the idea because, I'm really scared and shit. Like, I'm being pussy. So the months started to go by slowly, and we started doing some extreme shit. Like, I can't even lie. So we would end up like, she would end up like giving me head and shit like that. We ended up touching each other. Like, we ended up doing like all that shit except for having sex. And we would be doing this shit in like the craziest places. We did this shit in the park, like in the school staircase, like where else? Like in her at her house, her mom house. I'm like, yo, like we really did this shit like everywhere. Like at my house, I'm like, yo, she is really freaky and down for whatever. Like what the hell? Like freak hoe, something, and your elbows. Freak. So I'm like, yo, this chick is really like down, and she patient as hell. Like she could have got dick somewhere else, and she didn't cheat on me or nothing. I'm like, yo, like this is a real ride or die right here. So once the year ended, I went to Trinidad that year, 2011, and then I came back up. So now January 2012, I'm like, yo, it's a new year, and I'ma actually try to do it, because my friends keep on like peer pressuring me and shit. They like, yo, when you gonna smash, nigga? Y'all been together for so long. Y'all saying I love you and shit like that. Like, nigga, you really whipped. Like, you're not getting no pussy. You only doing this and that, but you ain't even smash. I'm like, yo, all right, I think I'm gonna finally try that shit. So January 2012, I hit her up. I'm like, yo, baby, let's actually try it this time. She like, what? I'm like, let's try that sex. She was like, oh, word? Like, I'm with it. Like, we'll name a time and place, wherever. Like, it's like, whatever. So I'm like, all right. So one day after school, I got my condoms and everything. But that morning, I'm like, all right. I'm here in the mirror and shit. I'm like, all right. So today you about to get some pussy, son. It's fourth quarter. You need to come through like Kobe in the clutch. You gotta be on your A game. This is the clutch shot, the clutch possession, the game winner right here, son. This is what we work for. I'm here giving myself like a fucking like pep talk and shit. Like I'm here hyping myself up. I'm like, all right, we about to go in for the kill. Well, I'm about to go in for the kill right now. So, after school or whatever, we meet up as usual, and then we end up taking the train back to her house. So she was like, oh, if my mother's there, like, we gonna figure something out. I'm like, all right. So we get there, and her mother's there. I say hi or whatever, and, I'm like, damn, like, what we gonna do now? She was like, all right, we gonna go up to the roof. I'm like, word? So we in Flatbush. We in Brooklyn, New York. We in the hood, right? So this is a real hood ass story right now, son. This shit about to turn extremely hood. So we like, alright, we gonna go up to the roof and we gonna do what we gotta do. So, as I'm walking upstairs to the roof, I'm here trembling and shit. I'm here like mad scared. I'm like, yo, I really hope I don't become a father. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, we get upstairs, and then I'm like, damn, like, I'm here shaking and shit. She was like, relax. So, she went down. She started doing what she doing and shit, making me feel comfortable. I'm like, alright. So we on the roof, helicopters passing by and shit, and then she was like, oh, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. So I took the condom like out the wrapper and shit like that. I bit that shit, ripped that shit, put that shit on. I'm like, alright, strapped up and shit. I'm like, is this how you put it on? She was like, nah, hold on, I got you right now. So she actually put it on for me. She actually helped me put that shit on, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. She was like, alright, you ready? I'm like, alright. So she bent over like the balcony, because we on the roof, so it's like you could lean over and then you see all the houses in Brooklyn and shit, or in Flatbush. So she bent over like over the railing, not really the balcony, but like the railing or whatever. But nobody could see us. Where we was at, nobody could see us at all. So we here on like, how tall was the building? The building was extremely high. So, well, not that high up. It had like about 7, 8 floors, That's not too bad. But anyways, we up there. She bent over. I'm like, all right, here I go. See, now I put it in. And that shit was like heaven, bro. When I tell you, that shit was tighter than a mother lover. I'm like, yo, this shit feeling good as hell. Now I see why everybody was telling me smash. I'm like, alright. So I'm finally having sex. I'm like, oh shit, it's my first time getting some pooms. Like, I'm getting some poops. I'm getting some pussies. Ah! So I'm here inside that shit like, oh, yeah. Here we go. I'm here doing my shit. And then next thing you know, like 3 minutes into that shit, I feel like I needed to pee. I'm like, yo, what the hell is this shit? Like, I never felt this feeling. Like, I'm about to pee in her. Like, what the hell am I doing, son? So, I kept on going or whatever, and then, like, it's coming closer and closer to, like, blurting out. I'm like, what the hell? I'm about to pee in her. Like, I never felt this shit before. And, like, while that shit was coming, like, I'm here shaking like I'm having an exorcism and shit. She was like, are you okay back there? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So, I'm here doing it. And then, bow. Just like that. 4 minutes tops. I bust the meanest nuts. I started shaking like I'm having an exorcism. I'm here shaking this shit like, So, I'm here like, wow, like, what the hell was that shit? She was like, oh, you bust or whatever. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, so that's what busting a nut is. So I'm like, yo, I took that shit off. I'm like, wow, like that shit was like good. And she was just there, just looking at me, laughing and shit like that. I'm like, yo, this shit wasn't funny, but this shit was good as hell, son. Oh, man. But anyways, that is my story of my first time getting some ass, getting some punani, getting laid for the first time. Like, I'm here like, damn, like, it took me like 16 years, but I finally did that shit. I was so hyped up after that. I'm here telling my homies, I was like, yo, I smashed, what's her face, blah, blah, blah. They was like, word, finally. And then after that, we would go on to, like, be fucking like animals, son, like all the time. Like, every time I saw her, like, 4, 5, 6 times a week, like just going straight at it, like every time we see each other. So like, yeah, we were doing some crazy shit like all the time. I remember one time we almost got caught in the school staircase by our assistant principal, but that's another story for another day. But the moral of this story is not to have sex. Try to remain abstinent from like sexual encounters and shit like that, because you never know, you might not be as lucky as me. You could end up with an STD, with a baby mother, an angry baby mother at that, a hood baby mother. Like, you don't want none of that shit. And although I almost made 2 years with that girl, being in a relationship with her, never break the bro code, bro. Like, never do that shit, because now I'm known as that dude that went out with my close friend's ex-girlfriend, wifed her up for almost 2 years, and fucked her like every single day. Like, that's not a good look for you. That's savage shit right there. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this story. And I gotta say one more time, thank you so much for 6,000 subscribers. You are all members of my Prince Mob, my YouTube family, and I love each and every single one of you guys. This is the Prince of YouTube, signing out.